Hey everyone, welcome to Rebloom, the podcast where we explore the power of change, rediscovery, and living with intention.
That's right. We're your hosts, Lori and Jamie, two friends who really love a good story about transformation.
In each podcast, we're going to chat with inspiring guests who've made bold pivots in their lives or careers. They've let go of what no longer served them to embrace something more authentic, joyful, and true to who they really are.
And the best part, many of them reconnect with passions or dreams they discovered as kids. It's about finding the seeds planted long ago and letting them bloom again.
So if you're ready for real conversations about reinvention, purpose, and following your creative heart, you're in the right place.
Let's dive in and see what it takes to rebloom. This was the best conversation about style, which I sometimes struggle with. And so a lot of what Angela had to say really spoke to me. And I also was really intrigued with how, and you know, I always get intrigued by this, how the things that she loved since she was young, always loved fashion, always hung out in her closet, and then kind of went through all of these iterations that were tangent to fashion, and now is doing something that's just comes easily and naturally to her.
Right.
And sometimes people think, well, I can't do that because it's too easy for me. That's not a real job. But that's when you know you really have something.
That is when you know you have something. And yeah, she not only has found something that she can do easily because it is her authentic self, and then she's helping us to be our authentic selves and finding what works for us. And I know when we've talked to a lot of our other guests about reblooming, it's when you find that authenticity that you really begin to share your joy with the world. And that's what she's doing. And it's incredible. And I hope that everybody will enjoy this episode because it was a delight to speak with Angela. You definitely want to follow her and just enjoy. Hey, Lori, how are you today?
Hey, Jamie. We're having a fun podcasting day today.
Oh, we are. So for our listeners, we often batch create, which means that we do a couple of podcasts, 2, maybe 3 in a row. And today we've done a brother-sister duo, which has been really kind of fun.
Absolutely. And I love hearing about their family. And we already interviewed their other brother.
We did.
So we're just going through your family because you're also interesting.
It is. So today we're going to welcome Angela Hauenstein. Hello, Angela. How are you?
Hi, very well, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming. Well, for our listeners, she has many siblings. She is one of 7, but she has 2 brothers, which we've interviewed. One is Billy O'Donnell, or Bill. Well, I know he goes by Bill, but I call him Billy. And the other is John O'Donnell, who is the founder of Johnny O. And today we get to have their incredible sister, Angela. And so thank you so much for joining us today.
You are welcome. And thank you for having me again.
Sure.
It's fascinating to watch your feed on Instagram. So I can't wait to get into how you got there and take us on that journey.
Yeah. So Angela, for those of you who do not follow her and absolutely should, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's a costly follow because I have bought several things, but she shares sort of everyday affordable chic for women, primarily over 40. But you're an influencer now, but obviously you didn't start as an influencer because none of us did. None of us could have done that back in the day. So tell us sort of like, where did your professional career begin?
Well, your brother did share that you were always into fashion. So.
Oh, yeah.
So always. I was just one of those kids who, instead of studying, I was always in my closet. And I ended up going to a public high school where I didn't have uniforms. And so I thought that was the coolest thing ever. My brothers and sisters did not. And so I used to always get into picking my outfits out. And I mean, I would spend hours. And my parents didn't even know. We had a big cedar closet. I'd be going through all the hand-me-downs and putting things together. And so I've always loved that. And it kind of turned into the person where people would say, where did you get that? And I would say, oh, well, I got it at wherever, and I love a bargain too. So I had no problem going to TJ Maxx and Marshalls and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And after I had our 4 children, I thought, I should get into, I'm always doing my friends' closets, and I do it for free and because it's fun. And I thought, I should do this as a profession because I enjoy it. It helps people greatly. And so I kind of just started that. And then along with that always comes, you have to have a website. Right. And then all of a sudden you've got to have an Instagram. And this is probably 4 or 5 years ago that I started that. And it just kind of happened that people, I guess, like what they saw. And so I was doing less personal shopping. I am doing less, especially where I live now, less personal shopping and less closet edits than I do Instagram and sort of helping people online and virtually.
Yeah.
What does you said you go into your friends' closets and do an edit. What does that process look like?
It really is. It's for people who are saying my lifestyle's changed, my body has changed, my budget has changed, good for the good or the bad, either way on any of these things. And I just can't get out of my leggings every day. And I don't know what to wear so that I feel good in my clothes. And, or they would be going to an event and we'd be scouring through their things, trying to find something. But what it came down to is a lot of people, it's not about like having a really clean closet. I mean, oftentimes it is, but knowing where everything is and what's in there and the things that actually suit you, your lifestyle, your body, what colors suit you, and not having a bunch of crap in there that you really just can't wear. And it's kind of just trying to bring people into their closet to see what they have, take out the things that absolutely don't suit them at all, either selling them or donating them, and then putting everything back in the closet in a way that people can figure out how to get dressed every day really easily.
Yeah.
My husband would love you to do that for me.
Yes.
He's always
I would love
saying, don't you need to get rid of some stuff?
Yeah, I think we all need it. And you have a phrase that you like to give to people too when you're looking at clothes, which I love. Do you want to share that with
I
them?
will. And I love to say it. We used to say it all the time when I would go shopping with my friends and they'd say, what do you think of this? And I'd say, where are you going in that?
Yeah.
Like, really?
Yeah.
If you can't say the grocery store or I'm going to run errands or whatever it is, then it's probably a purchase that is a one-hit wonder, or you might not have that many events to go to it. So where are you going in it? And list a couple places. And if it's valid, I say get it. And if it's not, then I say pass.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
and
smart.
do you do that? Would you recommend that too for my class? Like, for instance, I'm thinking of formal dresses that you bought and, you wore and you're like, well, it was a formal dress. I wore it to a wedding maybe 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. I'm probably never going to wear it again. I mean, I did wear it, but do you say, do you ask yourself, where am I going to wear that again?
I do.
Yeah.
I do, but at the same time, I say to people, one, does it still fit you? Because if it still fits, it's not worth giving away. Because if you do end up having to go to something, why go spend money on something new if this other one still works and still looks good on you? I hesitate also because sometimes, if you want to try and sell something, sometimes things aren't relevant anymore, and so I'm going to turn this off. And so it's kind of like you could donate it, but special occasion dresses can be really hard to find. And oftentimes people, are strapped at the last minute and thinking, what am I going to wear? So I always will say to kind of hold on to those unless they're horrible looking and do not fit you or do not fit.
You mean if you look like an 80s bridesmaid, time to make it go.
All of those can go. Most people just leave them in hotel rooms after weddings, which I find hilarious. We did it in the 90s. Oh my God.
That's so funny.
Oh my gosh, I've never heard that.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh, that's so funny. Well, and so I think, and one of the things that I love about what you share in your style is that you share a combination. I mean, they're really classic, gorgeous things, but there's a combination of sort of higher end things. But you'll say, hey, here's a really great tank that I got on Amazon. Like, get this for $24. It's got a great material. It's amazing. So you're really showing your followers the whole range, which I think is fabulous.
Well, I think that's how most people want to live their lives, right? They want to have, I mean, that's how I live my life. And I think that people, sorry, those are my dog's toenails. If you hear those, I clipped, and I cannot understand. That's where he sits every day. Where is he?
Oh, he's getting settled.
He's adorable. Okay, so it's funny. You had your dog on your social media the other day, and I have a needy dog just like your. Is it? I have a Cavapoo. Is yours a Cavapoo or?
No, he's a Daisy dog from Grand Rapids, which means he's a mix that they won't tell you what it is. So I did have his DNA done, and he is part poodle, part Bichon, part Shih Tzu, and then a mystery breed.
So wow, what a mixture.
He's just a really cute dog whose world, it's his world and we live in it. And it's,
yes,
it is so maddening. Anyway, and I did just have him groomed, and I said, "Can you make sure you trim his toenails?" And anyway, they sound like a typewriter.
It's not the first time we had noises on here. We always
makes me feel better.
Dings and beeps and whatever. We just roll with it.
Usually my Carolina, who decides to just make her presence known too, and she's hilarious, and she will do that occasionally. But they're fun. But I was watching. You're like, okay, the dog is coming with me to the gym because he's needy, and I'm like, yeah. I got one of those needy dogs too. I'm like, how did I get a needy dog? Like,
honestly, and I don't feel like he was always needy, but then our neighbors in Boulder started saying, he really does bark when you leave, because we would go to the neighbor's house or we would go out and they'd say, he's been barking the entire time you left. Then when we were up here, it happened again, and it was just this whole thing. So we put him on Prozac, we've tried Xanax, and now I'm going to get him. Oh yeah, now I'm going to get him CBD. He's untrainable. It's just the way it is.
Funny. Oh, how
Anyhow,
funny. We digress. We'll come back to the fashion. So yeah.
I am a high-low shopper. I always have been. My mom has been that way. I am not brand conscious, and I do not believe that anybody should be brand conscious, because what that says is you have no inherent style. You're just buying because either you can, because you've got a fantastic figure, so you're buying something just off the rack that you don't need, or it's because you have a huge budget and you're walking into a boutique and someone's saying, "This is a great white t-shirt. It's only $2.95." And you're like, "Wait, what? Why?"
It's a white t-shirt. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. I mean, those are things that you can invest in, but if you sweat or you spill on it, well, that's ruined. So I do feel as though there are some things that you can invest in that are great, but there's a lot of stuff no one cares or knows if your sweater came from Target. If anything, I just recently bought, which you'll see on Instagram soon, a dress at Bloomingdale's. It was $118, both of them each. They look so fancy. And I said to my husband, I cannot wait to walk into this fancy club and walk in my $118 dress and have all these fancy ladies be like, "Where did you get that?"
Yeah.
It was
that is so fun.
I have to tell you, my mom was that way. My mom she always looked like $1 million, but she was a bargain hunter, and she would get asked those questions, and she loved actually telling them, I got it. Yeah. I
have to tell you,
I was proud of it.
We had gone to a black tie years ago, and we walked in, and I had bought my dress for $35 on the sale rack at Dillard's. And there was this fancy lady in there. And of course, my husband's got a wicked sense of humor. And she was in almost the exact same dress. Mine was crepe. Hers was velvet, but it looked almost identical. And she was, not only did we look alike, and it was a little embarrassing, but my husband walked up and goes, "So, did you spend $35 for the death glare that I got from that lady?" And I was like, "Well, too bad for you, but sorry.
Oh my gosh!
But it's
okay. We are totally digressing.
We are. So
we got to get back on your story, and I want to hear. Yeah, like we always concentrate on the pivots, and so we're talking about where you are now, but take us back to what led to this and what pivots you've made along the way.
Yes. All right. So when I was 14, I did have a job at a boutique in Winnetka, Illinois. And I was under the age that I couldn't be paid, unless I guess he could have paid me under the table. But he used to give me, merchandise as payment or whatever. So I really kind of started a little bit in retail, went to college, moved to New York, doing the ad sales for television. And I never really realized what my true passion was. I just did what I knew, which is a lot of members of my family were doing television or radio
Yeah.
ad sales. So
Yeah.
anyway, as I was married and immediately had 4 children pretty quickly, and then raising those 4 kids, and then the time came to say, like, I really need to be doing something. I mean, before you know it, they're going to be gone. And at that time was when I started helping out my friends in their closets doing edits. And that is when I said, I should probably start a business doing this.
Yeah.
And showing people where to buy things. And now it's so, the market is flooded with people like me. And you can go down a rabbit hole in a second. But what I just like to focus on is kind of what I believe. And then the people that are interested in what I believe, which is, high and low fashion, classics, everyday chic, all that. That's kind of how people, I guess, find me. And then they like it.
A lot of people like it. You've got a huge following on social media. Angela's an influencer, and you stepped into you stepped into Instagram, obviously not thinking you were going to probably at that moment be like, oh, I'm going to be an influencer someday. Although it's fun to brag to the kids a little bit, I think, like, hey, mommy's got more followers. But tell us about what that looks like for you as you've grown into this big space, and now you're producing a lot of content frequently, and tell us what being an influencer means now.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because you always have what's it called syndrome, imposter syndrome.
Yeah,
that just comes with anything that you do, I guess. And not everybody likes what I do or whatever. You never know. But I remember it's been a couple of times, more than once, when I was in Denver at the Cherry Creek Mall, and people will say, Angela. And I think, wait, what? Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
How do you even? Oh, okay. Hi. And they're like, I follow you on Instagram. I really love it. And all your stuff. And I'm like, oh gosh, thanks. And I've been really lucky also because I don't get a lot of hate. And I think that's such a thing that a lot of people do get hate. And I very politely love to tell people, look, this is all about good vibes here. This is for fun. We are not curing cancer here. I wish I could, but I can't. Good vibes only. And if you don't like it, it would be a big favor to me if you would just unfollow. And then I never usually hear back. But it's just kind of a weird space because you're really putting yourself out there. And it's kind of the last thing I want to be doing in my life at 50, almost 56. I'm sort of like, I can't believe I'm twirling around in front of the camera. But people seem to like it. And they like to see clothes on a person that's relatable to them.
Yeah.
You're really good at it, and you're very approachable and likable, and you're beautiful. So
you are beautiful.
That helps too.
It does. Well, and Lori and I have both been on social media and Instagram for a while, and it's hard to put yourself out there. But even when I teach, actually, I was just talking with my cousin's husband, and he needs to be on social media. He's a physician, and we were talking about it. And I said, listen, you just have to find the space where you're going to feel comfortable. And not everybody can do everything. Like I'm a little less comfortable putting myself out there, but Lori's gotten better. I mean, you enjoy it. You've gotten a lot better at it. And
I just kind of, I don't know. The more, it's like anything else, the more you do it, I think the easier it becomes, or it's all about practice and
you kind of have to just lose your inhibitions and be like, what?
Yeah.
If people don't like it, I really can't worry about it.
Yeah, right.
But
exactly.
I think the thing that's so cool about what you're doing, Angela, is yes, you're bringing your fun personality to it, but you're being really authentic. Like you like the things that you're talking about, and you can tell that. And so there's a quality aspect of it. And I think that's what people really tune in to listen to. Oh, well, this is a really good pair of shoes, or a this or a that. And, that's what you want, because it's hard to find good products now. And so you're helping us to do our homework, and
helping you to not have to worry about shopping all the time.
Yes.
I am curious, like, what is a week in the life of Angela as being an influencer?
That's
like,
funny.
are you batch creating content, or?
I'm not as good at it as I should be, but I do finally have someone that's kind of helping me sort of get that. My husband does a lot of the behind the scenes things, which is great. But in terms of, laying out how it's going to go, how many things could I shoot in a day, and there's no method to the madness quite yet, but I am getting there. And it depends on if I have a deal with a brand and they're going to send me a box of clothes. I have to sort of figure out when, what's the weather, what's the lighting, what's the, how am I going to present this to people? Or if I'm just, wearing something that I love, that can be just in 2 seconds. I can just get on the phone and just do it. The day in the life, there's a lot of, I do a lot of virtual teaching too. So that takes up a lot of time. So I'm working on my calendars, ladies. It's not as spelled out as it needs to be.
Aren't we all?
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Like, do you use a scheduler for your posting and all of that?
Yes and no. Sometimes, stories, I really like to be off the cuff because if I stand there and tell you guys that I'm making chicken fajitas tonight, 9 times out of 10, I will get, I don't know how many people will say, where do I get the sweater? So if I don't link something, that they tend to say, where do I get that? When I link it, I can't see who's buying, but I can see that they're buying. But it tends to be the real life stuff that people really react to. So the planned stuff where you can tell that I'm sort of explaining what I'm wearing, that's all planned out and, for the brands to let them know in advance. But yeah, other than that, it's the off the cuff stuff that people really relate to.
Yeah. Yeah. That doesn't surprise me. Yeah, because they probably can put themselves in your world a little more easily with those. Yeah. Like and when you're in your kitchen or whatever.
Well, that's the real stuff. And that's when you're not necessarily selling, you're just being you. And that's what people want they want to feel connected to who you are. And that lets you feel connected to, I feel like, as I said, I'm like, oh, you live in Michigan. Like you start to know someone's story.
Yeah.
As much as you know and then you feel like, well, her story's similar to my story. So that's we're compatible and I would listen to what she has to say. And
I think another thing about it is that I try to say to people, this is not so that you buy. This is supposed to be inspirational and aspirational, right? So people say, what's your workout routine? What do you do, for your skin? And I'm happy to share what I can. No two people are the same, but it's sort of to say, look, if you have a navy blue cardigan and a white t-shirt and some cool earrings, go put it on. You don't have to buy this. But use this as a little inspo, screenshot it, do whatever you want to do so that you can say I feel like I have that outfit. I could wear that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you get a lot of responses from people about how you're helping them?
I do. As a matter of fact, I was just putting all these testimonials into a folder so that I can put it on social media just to say, because it's such a great feeling when people say, oh my gosh, I'm a 64-year-old lady and I have put on some weight in my middle because of menopause. And I really loved the way you said something. And it just makes me feel like, oh, I helped someone today because she's not feeling great about herself. Yeah. And that makes me feel really good. I do get messages back and people do really feel like they know you. Rover, the dog, they refer to him. I always call him Baby Rover, even though he's 13. And sometimes people write me a note and they'll say, oh, look at BR. Today.
Oh, how cute.
Like they know him and they pay attention and it's kind of funny.
Well, and how do your kids feel about the what you're doing now?
I'm always even still a little shy around the family when I have to film things, even in front of my husband, who's like, what's your problem? But I thought at first that everybody would be almost embarrassed. And it depends on, I guess, what their ages have been. The youngest is 20 and the oldest is. And then there are 2 24-year-olds and then one 20-year-old boy, 2 2-year-old girls and 1 24-year-old boy. And they think it's awesome. And in fact, one of them is in Greece right now. And she just texted me. She said, my friend that I'm with on this trip wants a link to that bathrobe you were wearing.
Oh, how funny.
Wow.
So then the kids, friends all know me because of it. So, it's kind of fun now, again, because I don't take it too seriously. Come on. This is just fun. And so sometimes I'm laughing at myself. I'm laughing at them, just to keep it all realistic. And
I
like,
watched one today that was really cute. You kept coming down the steps in a different outfit and
yes.
change your mind. I'm like, oh yeah,
I love
can
it.
And that
relate
is
to
real life.
that.
I tell you what, my husband is actually really good on camera. And a lot of people are saying, we want Bing, bring back Bing. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll bring him back.
Let
Yeah,
him
we
come
have
back.
a friend who her husband is adorable and her audience knows Matt. And they're always like, where's Matt? Where's Matt? We want to see him.
Oh,
It's
how
so
funny. Maybe I should bring my husband on. I'll have
You
to ask him.
should, because
I
Jim's
know.
adorable.
Jim
He's
is so funny. Yeah, I'm
Well,
going
he
to have
has
to
a
tell him.
sense of humor, and that's
Oh,
part
he
of it,
does.
right?
Oh, he does. He thinks he's a riot. No,
He is funny.
he is very funny, and he would be really fun. But that's that authenticity, and it's interesting with my kids too. I found, they may not say much, but then sort of indirectly, you will have heard about them telling their friends, or their friends all of a sudden will start following you, and you're like,
Yes.
oh, they've been talking about me. And that kind of makes me feel so proud that, there's a little bit, it's like, okay, your mom's not such a dork after all. We're all kind of cool. We can be cool, mom.
That's right. That's right.
And it's just, I mean, that's really kind of neat. But we're also putting ourselves out there in our authentic way. And so I think that is something to be, all three of us can be very proud of too.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're putting our authenticity out there. And I think when you do that, that not only makes us proud, but makes our family proud.
I think so. And I think just being yourself is what it just truly, I watched some girls who I think, do you really wear that just during the day? Or you really? I used to spend a lot of money on clothes because I was going out all the time in our 30s. We go out a lot. And I cared more. And I was younger and I was going out and doing all this stuff. And now I'm like, at 55, I don't really go anywhere anymore, but I still get dressed all the time.
That's especially during the pandemic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of, I would say, my biggest pieces of advice to people, and is there is something about getting up, whether it's you working out or whatever you're going to do in the morning. The shower actually going over your head is one feeling, right? You know that you just that did something for you. And the same goes for actually putting clothes on that you like, that make you feel good. Because when you're just sitting around in your leggings or your robe all day, you're less productive. You don't feel as great about yourself. If the UPS man comes to the door, it's like, getting up, getting dressed, wear your clothes, for God's sake. You went out and spent all this money, put them on.
Yeah. And we've all got comfortable clothes that are not leggings and that look cute.
That's right.
And
those are things you need to be focusing on if you are a stay-at-home person. Things that are attractive loungewear pieces that are flattering.
Correct.
It's funny because I know a lot of people save their nice things for when they really have an event or they're going to be around other people. But I think your advice of doing that in your everyday, running to the grocery store, feeling like you look good.
Yes. Because the minute someone says, oh my God, you look amazing, all of a sudden you're like, wait, what? Oh, yeah. I do.
Yeah.
It does something to all of
those endorphins or whatever, dopamine hit, I guess. Yeah. So if we can go back just for a second, you were sharing with us before we hit record some things that happened in between your retail job and what you're doing now. Can you just kind of walk us through? Because I feel like in a lot of our podcasts, it's the accumulation of all the skills you pick up along the way that end up kind of really benefiting you where you land in something that you really truly love. So can you speak to that?
Yeah. I mean, again, when I moved to New York City and worked in ad sales, that wasn't my passion and I didn't know what was really happening. But when I did quit that job, I called up the owner of Lilly Pulitzer. I didn't even know him. And I said, because he had just bought the brand back. Lilly Pulitzer, the brand was going up for sale and anybody could have bought it, Walmart, anybody. But these two guys from Philadelphia got together and bought the brand and brought it back in about 97 or 98. And I just called the guy up on the phone and I said, hey, look, I live in Los Angeles. I don't see anybody out here wearing it. I don't see anybody on the red carpet wearing it. Not that it's a red carpet brand, but are there celebrities out there that wear it and whatever. And so I ended up helping them do some PR and trunk shows and things like that. And then I kind of moved into this trunk show world for a minute, where I was working for a very fancy children's company called Papa Don Joe, which was created by a gal from Minnesota who was living overseas. And it was really expensive children's clothing. And so I thought, you know what, I'm not going to buy that, $100 button down for my boys. But if I work for them, then I will put them in it. I got to have 4 matching kids. And so I moved into that. Then when it was bought by Oscar de la Renta, we all got to work for Oscar. And we would go to New York and go to the office. And I mean, I went out to dinner with him one time at the Red Rooster restaurant or whatever that's called in Harlem. And he got up and sang. And we all sat at the table. And I'm sitting here like, wait, what? What is going on? How am I at this table right now? And it was really, really cool to be able to do that. Then the children's division kind of disappeared, and I moved on to a really cool company that was doing made to order dresses, shirts, where you would say, I want that style dress, that style, that colorway, this length, this sleeve, and this neckline. And it would come to you in 3 weeks. And it was a great concept. The gal who was doing it just didn't, she no longer does it. Let's just put it that way. And that's when I sort of started to say, you know what, this whole blogging thing, like all these people are doing these blogs. I don't understand what this is. Yeah. And that's when I sort of started this whole thing. And then it just kind of morphed. And here we are.
Let's take a quick minute and thank our amazing sponsors. Our podcast is proudly brought to you today by Jet Creative and Urban Stems. Jet Creative is a women-owned marketing firm committed to community and empowerment since 2013. Are you ready to rebloom and build a website or start a podcast? Visit jetcreative.com/podcast to kickstart your journey. They will help you bloom in ways you never imagined. And bonus, our listeners get an exclusive discount when you mention Rebloom. And a huge thanks to Urban Stems, your go-to and our go-to source for fresh, gorgeous bouquets and gifts delivered coast to coast. Use Bloom Big 20 and save 20% on your next order. And don't forget to subscribe to this podcast and follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Rebloom Podcast. Thanks to our sponsors, and thanks to you for joining us today.
So initially, I'm guessing you were just posting about things that you bought yourself, and then it built up to a point where your following was there, and then brands were reaching out to you. Right. Is that right?
Yes. And I think the landscape, though, has really changed, where the early bloggers, those girls, I mean, I don't know if you follow some of the originals, what's her name? Atlantic Pacific, people like, there are a bunch of them. And they were making, and some still do, $100,000 just for one video.
Wow.
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 It was a real groundbreaking thing because brands wanted that authentic thing. Even though these were very styled photos, sessions, and videos, very styled. They were cheaper than, getting a camera crew and doing a commercial and all this kind of stuff. Now it's changed because there's so many more people doing it that, obviously people aren't making that kind of money anymore. But there's a thing about being under the thumb of a brand, which is also hard because they get very specific. You can only say this, you can only say that. And it's like,
right.
Honestly, if that's the way you want to do it, I don't want to work with you because I am not going to say it like that.
Well, it's interesting. I always like to say when I'm working with brands, I like to be a brand ambassador. I really want to believe in that brand. I don't want to just get on there and say, hey, here's this thing that I'm selling for a hot second and then pop off. Like I really want to have a connection with them. And it's interesting because you represent Jay McLaughlin, which I had gone into the Jay McLaughlin store and I said, oh, I follow this woman and she was posting this and I would love to see this. And she said, oh, she's amazing. Even the store knew about you, which is interesting because that really says to me that you're building that authenticity with the brand full circle. I wanted to ask though, when you are selecting brands, like how do you start how do you pick what you're doing and how do you select that brand?
A lot of times they are finding me where Jay McLaughlin, I sort of knew someone that was over there and that's how I got started with them. And that's actually a store I've never, ever shopped in my life. But
Oh,
the reason that I love to work with them is because I say to them, you're not going to tell me what to wear. I will go in there and find some stuff that I can make cool and youthful and fit cool. But don't just tell me we want you to show this blue dress, because if I don't like the blue dress, I am not going to put it on.
yeah.
I'm just not going to do it. But you have to spend a lot of time tagging brands and mentioning them, and um, to catch their eyes so that they'll either give you free clothes or pay you for the content. And that's fine, but I do feel it's a little more freeing not having to be under the thumb of a brand. So
Right.
I really actually can do it both ways.
Yeah.
So still to this day, part of your content is just stuff that you find on your own and
Yep.
love.
Yep.
And then some of it is brand driven.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you can't really tell, though, because I wouldn't work with a brand unless I really liked what they
Right.
brand itself
Right.
and
Yeah.
the clothing that they offer or shoes or whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that because a lot of art supply companies send me stuff, and some of it I'm like, yeah, I don't really know if I like this paint.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But then there are others that I'm like, I would hands down shout to the rooftops how much I love this product.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the way to do that is just to start shouting it out, how much you
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
And then eventually they find you because you've tagged them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
What do you find the most rewarding about being an influencer now?
It really, it kind of goes back to what I was saying about those couple of women that will, say how much I've really helped them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, okay. So that makes me feel great because all of a sudden they're listening. They want to know. I'm like teaching them something that they didn't know before.
Yeah.
And I because it's so easy and it comes so easily to me, I just didn't realize that a lot of people don't know or care or didn't know that they wanted to care. And so that part of it has been very rewarding. I also, would never, I don't want to make anybody feel bad if someone's like, wow, that sweater is $345. Like, that's just too much for me. Can you find something else? I'm like, absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't personal shop for free, but sure, I'll throw something else up there that, and then it makes me feel really good when I can find something similar that someone can afford. And I love that.
Yeah.
And you throw up, really, I mean, you throw up some things that are absolutely gorgeous. Like, you'll go to a boutique and you'll say, hey, this is, but then you have, as I said, things that came from Amazon or things that are cheaper.
Yeah.
But I always say too, it's important on our social media to inform, educate, and entertain. And in a very beautiful way, you're entertaining us as you're educating us. Like you did a whole, I loved the one about the shoes that are clear. And you're like, listen, ladies, wear these. They'll make your legs look longer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, well, that's a really, because we don't know. And plus we want to dress like it's 2025, not like it's 1990. And
Totally.
yeah. And so you're doing a great job helping us.
Is your mom, is she very stylish?
Oh my gosh. My mom is something else. She'll get mad if I say this, but she's 89 years old. She wears her skinny jeans and her little Johnny O's and her little, Todd's shoes, and her hair is just blonde and just like that. And she's totally self-sufficient, lives on her own, happy as can be. And she still to this day will say, I go to parties and all the ladies have, pants on and these big tops. And she said, Angela, don't forget, always wear dresses, wear dresses, dress like a lady. And I'd be like, okay. Yeah. And she'd be the only one standing at a party in a dress. Even last year, everyone's got their white jeans on. And she's like, they're all wearing their white jeans. And I'm wearing my dress. Aww. And she does have really nice style. And her mother also was a big shopper and loved hats and going to Paris and buying. Oh. So it definitely trickled down through the blood. For sure.
Yeah. In your DNA, are your sisters also?
Yeah, I was going to ask that question.
That's a good question. I have 3 sisters who are 7, 8, 9 years older than me. The one that's 7 years older than me, she would rather sit on her front porch in Greenwich and listen to the birds chirping. And it drives me insane because I'm like, you can't wear those jeans anymore. She's like, why? And the next
Yeah.
one, she cares and she's got great style. She does accessories and things really well. And then the older one, who's 9 years older than me, she has a daughter who's in her 20s. So they're very into it also. They don't do anything with it, but they just always look put together.
Yeah.
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 It's
I
fun.
love that.
It is
I
so
love
funny.
dressing my daughter. She's like, I always say she's my life-size Barbie.
No.
Yeah.
You go into the stores, it's like, oh my God, that would look so good on Ken's.
Yeah. I love my daughter lives in Tribeca, and same thing. In fact, we were talking about some certain brands this week because she has they're doing all these weddings and all this stuff. But
No.
it's interesting because indirectly I'm taking the things that you've advised, and so when she's showing me things, I'm like, "Yep, that's a good one. That's try this," and it's just and trying to help these kids with budget friendly type of
Oh
things
my God. That don't look cheap.
that don't look cheap. That don't look cheap. I know. And are ladylike. And I agree with your mother. I mean, my mother has passed on, but she would always say, you need to wear a dress. Like I'd go to school with the kids or something. And she'd be like, are you wearing a dress? And I'm like, why, Mom? That's that whole 1960s. And when you traveled, she was a travel agent too. Oh, you have to wear a dress. You have to dress up because I'm like, why, Mom? But we always look. I still do. I mean, I don't wear a
it's
dress.
so important because what these, the American woman out in the airport it's unbelievable to me. I mean, leggings are never pants. Especially if they're in like a sage green or like, mauve. Those are not pants.
They are
and
not.
It's usually the people wearing them that shouldn't be wearing them. And all I want to say is like, just put on something else. But that's kind of where our society is going, unfortunately. And I wish we could go back to those Mad Men days and things like that, where people cared and it was classy. And
I don't think the pandemic helped that at all.
No, it did
not
not
either. I don't think so.
Yeah, now everything's athleisure wear.
I know. And it is acceptable because if you can find really good looking stuff, again, like everyone's wearing sneakers.
Right. Yeah.
It's just knowing how to put those things together is the part that people don't always know.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Are there classic pieces that you would say, yes, invest in this, like invest in good coats, invest in good sweaters or shoes, or the things that, seem to be a little more timeless?
Yeah. I have a thing though about like, when someone says a capsule collection, I don't go for that because there's no universal capsule collection. What's good for you and for you is not the same that I would consider a capsule collection. So what I would spend money on might not be what you would spend money on. So I feel like people need to spend money on the things that they love when they see it and they're like, oh my God, whether that's a bracelet or it is a dress or it is a blazer. Because if I told you, I really think you should invest in a blazer, you might be like, but I don't wear blazers.
I don't wear blazers.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? And this is something I'm working on for one of my upcoming online course things that I have. And it's like, there are certain things that if you're going to wear an awful lot, you want, let's say they're sneakers, you can buy inexpensive sneakers that are comfortable. Right. And that's an important thing. But you can also buy really expensive sneakers and they can be really uncomfortable. So I wouldn't be so it's like, it's kind of hard to predict what those things are. I would say everybody needs a really decent black dress. I know that sounds so cliche, like you need your LBD, but it's the truth, because it's something you can throw on at any time. And all you're trying to do in that situation or something you are spending money on is making sure that the neckline is complementary to your figure. If you're scared to show your arms, okay, well then don't buy a sleeveless dress. Or if, finding the exact right length for your legs. Those are the things that when you find those pieces that work in those ways, those are the things you spend the money on. But it's different for everybody. So I have a hard time talking about capsule collections and things.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting point. One of the things that someone told me years ago, it was when the outlet malls were sort of first starting, and they said, are you buying this let's say it's $100 item that's been marked down to $50. And let's say you can afford the $100, you can afford the $50. Are you buying it because it's half price and it's $50? If you had the $100 in your pocket and they said it's $100, would you still buy it?
Right.
And I ask myself that a question a lot when I'm like, am I buying this just because it's on sale, or do I love it? And I'm being a little more particular about making sure that I love something and invest in it appropriately. And yeah, I know.
That's a good one.
Isn't that a good one?
I do love a sale.
You love a sale too, and then you end up having a bunch of crap up there in your closet.
Yeah,
Just not
true.
It's
so
funny.
True.
I also believe that ability to be mindful like that happens to people at different ages. It depends on how they were raised, how their mother was, acted toward clothes or whatever, and purchases, whether that be extra new lamps. It could be any part of your life. It happens at different stages, where I have a daughter who hates to shop, believe it or not. But when she sees something she loves, she buys it. She is so excited, and she will wear the heck out of it. The other one, her twin sister, wants to buy anything. I want to have it. And then, ends up maybe not wearing it. But you get to a certain point in your life, either it's in something you already possess the ability to be able to be selective, or it's something you grow into as you get older.
Yeah. Interesting.
When you realize I have too much stuff.
Oh yeah.
Too much stuff. And, I don't believe in that old saying, like, if one of my friends literally texted me last week and she said, do I have to listen to that rule that if I haven't worn it in a year or 2 years, I have to get rid of it? And I said, do you like it? Do you love it? When you look at that, she's like, yeah, but I just don't really wear it. I'm like, then why would you give it away? Don't ever listen to those rules. The things you give away are the things you just don't wear. I don't care how long you've had them. There are things I've had for years and years that I still go back to all the time.
Yeah. I have some things from my mom that I look. She has a jacket, a ski jacket that she got in Europe back in the 60s. And it's this boiled wool that's just amazing. And it's got these fabulous buttons. And I'm so glad she kept it. And now I have it and I'll give it to my daughter. But, it's interesting. I think clothes sometimes imprint on your heart and soul. My friend says that they leave an imprint. And so if it's sitting in your closet and it reminds you of an event or something, that's not taking up too much space and you want to just keep it. I mean, you're not going to get that much for it if you give it away or sell it or whatever. So it's not hurting anybody to, but if there's too much, yes. But,
or in my case, sometimes I cut them up and put them in quilts or something.
Well, then you still have it. So that's good.
Then you do. Then you still have it.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Well, Angela, this has been just the greatest conversation. Thank you so much for spending time with us. Do you have any advice maybe you give to your clients, your kids, us, that you love to leave people with about, I don't know, clothes, life, anything?
I think I really believe a couple of things. Like, if you love it, I mean, I learned this about decorating recently, where you feel like you've got a decorator that comes in and you really have to get that because it's part of the formula. And I heard on another podcast, if you love it, put it in your house. And it's the same thing about your clothes. If you love it, then just wear it. Yeah. And honestly, I want people to walk in their closet. I love that feeling when I see a dress. I'm like, oh God, I love that dress. That is so great. If you don't feel that way, then that's when, you get rid of it. That would be one thing. I want people to love what they own, have fewer things that you love. Now, do I have a collection of things up there that is obnoxious? Yes, because it's part of the job also. And because it's part of my personality that I hold on to things more than I should, because it's easy to take your own advice on some things, but not always. And the other thing I would say is along the lines of, if you see something you love, buy it. And people will say, well, I can't because I can't show my arms. And my favorite thing to say is, can I just tell you something? No one is looking at your arms. They are looking at their own arms. Nobody is saying, like someone will say, can I wear a beige shoe with a black dress? I'm like, do you think anybody at the party is going to say, did you see Angela's beige shoes with the black dress?
Yeah.
No one cares. And if they care, they're losers.
They shouldn't be your friends anyway.
They shouldn't be your
Absolutely.
friends anyway. Wear what you love. That's really what it comes down to. And, spend time really thinking about things. Don't just put it in your cart and buy it. Put it in your cart and think about it for a second. And if you go back to it and you're like, I really do love that. But taking a real assessment of, did I wear it last year? Because if I really didn't, and I think it's only okay, then make space for something new that you love.
Yeah, I love that.
On the theme of wearing what you love, Clinton Kelly and what's the woman that did the show with him, the What Not to Wear show?
Oh, I don't remember.
They have a new show out now, and the whole spirit of it is it's totally different from the What Not to Wear theme. It's more about really embracing your own authentic style and wearing what you love.
Mm-hmm.
And not always following the rules that supposedly exist. Like, why?
Yeah.
Because when you're wearing what you love, you feel so much more confident and more yourself. And
I'm
that
telling
goes
you,
through.
if you fall for trends and you are not a trendy dresser, I tell my clients this all the time, you are going to walk into a party and feel so self-conscious because you are going to feel like you're in a costume. But because it's because your body looked good in it or because your budget afforded it, you're going to walk into the party and be like, I feel so stupid. Everyone is, I know people know that that's not my style. I look uncomfortable. I feel uncomfortable. I just want to go home.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're leaving the party because you feel stupid. You're not living your authentic, personality, style personality.
Yeah.
And I think we know, like my husband will always say, stop fidgeting. If I'm fidgeting in my clothes, then I'm not feeling comfortable or confident in my clothes. And it's interesting. You'll even stand, but if you're wearing something that's appropriate for you, you do. It's just sort of a natural, you're not even thinking about it. You're not thinking about what other people, you're like, okay, this is good. This works for me. And off I go. And
totally.
Yeah.
And the other last piece of advice I would say is if you get dressed, when you start to get into this new mindset that I'm going to get dressed every day, here he comes with his toenails.
Uh-oh, here comes our puppy. He's back.
Oh my God. Hello.
BR.
Here's BR. I'll show you BR. Come here. The other thing is
so cute.
when you put something on, there he is.
Hello, Bobby.
Oh my God, look at that face.
All right, we'll have to show us. You'll have to send me a picture so we can include that. Oh my God. He looks like Carolina.
He looks like a stuffed animal. He looks like whatever. But here's the last piece of advice I would say for people who are trying to wear their clothes and get dressed. When you get dressed in the morning, you put something on, you look in the mirror, and if you don't like it today, you're not going to like it next week. You're not going to like it in 2 months. And you're not going to like it next year. If you don't like it today and the way it looks and the way it makes you feel, then you do need to make a pile for sell or donation and get rid of it.
Love it.
Because don't put it back. Because when you put it back, it's just creating that clutter. And it's going to make it that much more difficult when you do want to get dressed. So
give it away.
Give it away. Someone else would be thrilled. But I'm a big shopper on the Real. I shop on Poshmark all the time. I love to buy things that have previously been owned, for sure.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love
Look
it.
at his paws.
Look at this. Look, we're looking at the puppy. Oh my God. Clearly, we got to have a picture of him I know. He's amazing. Angela, thank you so much for spending time with us today. I'll tell you, this O'Donnell family is not to be messed with. They are something else.
There's a secret sauce there. I don't know if there's something about hard workers and very humble and just nice people, but
it is. Well,
killing it.
Yeah, everybody, please follow Angela Hauenstein. We will have her links. She's incredible. You want to follow her. And certainly you will enjoy everything that she shares with you and find the thing that is right for you. So peace, love, and rebloom. Life is too short not to follow your passions. So go out there and let your heart plant you where you are meant to be and grow your joy.
We will be right here sharing more incredible stories of reinvention with you. Make sure to subscribe to our podcast so you never miss an episode of Rebloom.
Until next time, I'm Jamie Jameson.
And I'm Lori Siebert.
Peace, love, and rebloom, dear friends.